What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog. Got another fun video for you guys. This one we're looking at a Rakdos devotion list. So the focus on the deck initially was around Rakdos, the Showstopper, but this card isn't really that great in Standard because there just aren't a whole lot of demons, devils, or imps. But I did want to play around with it, and so built sort of a reasonably competitive list that has a devotion and knights sub-theme to it. So Rakdos essentially is just our top-end finisher. So starting here at the bottom, we're going to be running 4 Knight of the Ebon Legion. So again, with our devotion and knights theme, this fits in perfectly. It's a nice aggressive creature. 2 Order of Midnight. It's also another knight, human knight, 2/2 flying. And it also lets us get our creatures back from our graveyard to our hand. Since Rakdos can hit most of our creatures, as well as our opponents, it's just kind of random. 4 Smitten Swordmasters, just trying to get a little bit of value off of the knight theme. If we cast the sorcery side, we gain X life, and each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of knights you control. So it's nice against other sort of creature or aggressive-based matchups to kind of help us stabilize a little bit. And it itself is a 2/1 life-linking creature. Again, with the devotion theme, we're going to run 3 Yarok's Fenlurker, since it is black-black. 1/1, when it enters, each opponent exiles a card from their hand. And it does have the nice upside of paying 3 to give it +1/+1 until end of turn. Since we are in Rakdos, you can be running a couple Kroxa. It's 6/6. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card, and then each opponent who discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. But then, of course, you have to sacrifice it unless you escape it, and the escape is black, red. So it's just kind of a nice late game piece as well for us, and could be a little bit of disruption in the early to mid game. We're running 2 Ayara. It's a great devotion card as it's black for a 2/3. Whenever it or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. You can also tap it to sacrifice another black creature to draw a card. So every single creature in our deck is going to synergize with Ayara. We're going to run 3 Midnight Reapers, just a powerful 3/2 zombie knight. So it's 1 more knight yet again. Whenever a non-token creature we control dies, Midnight Reaper deals 1 damage to you, and you draw a card. So just a great way to keep our hand stocked, so we can keep going and finding answers, whether it's creatures or removal. Removal such as Murderous Rider, which you're running 3 of. Also another zombie knight. 2/3 lifelinker, and it has Swift End, where we can destroy a creature or a planeswalker, and we also lose 2 life. We are gaining life with Ayara and things like that, and Smitten Swordmaster, so having these life lost cards is usually not a problem. And our devotion payoff here is Erebos, Bleak-Hearted. It's a 5/6 for 4 legendary enchantment creature, indestructible. As long as your devotion to black is less than 5, Erebos isn't a creature. Whenever another creature you control dies, you can pay 2 life, and if we do, we draw a card. So it's just another great card advantage piece that we can pay life to draw cards anytime our opponent has removal. And we are going to be gaining a fair bit of life with some of our other creatures and spells, so that's usually not a problem. We're going to run 4 Nightmare Shepherds. It's our first demon here, so this will not die when Rakdos enters the battlefield. It has a 4/4 flyer. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you can exile it. If you do, we get a copy token, except it's 1/1 and a nightmare, in addition to its other types. So this is great. So when Rakdos comes down and it does destroy some of our other creatures, we have the option to exile them and then turn them into 1/1s. But still retain all their abilities. So if it's like a Knight of the Ebon Legion, it's a 1/1, but it still has the activated ability. Smitten Swordmaster, 1/1 with lifelink. Yarok's Fenlurker is kind of the big payoff for that, as whenever it enters the battlefield, each opponent exiles a card from their hand. Yarok's Fenlurker is already a 1/1, so nothing really changes there. And it still has the activated ability of being able to pump it up, +1/+1. Our other demon here is Doom Whisper. It's a 6/6 flying trample, so just a pretty powerful creature here at 5 mana in and of itself. Has a nice little benefit of being able to pay life to Surveil, so it can help us fix our draws. And obviously it will not die to Rakdos. Another life gain or finisher is Gray, a Merchant of Asphodel. Just run it as a 2-of because we're not all in on the devotion theme here. So whenever Gray, Merchant of Asphodel enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black, and we gain life equal to the life lost this way. And we already showed you the 2 Rakdos Showstoppers. And just to go over it, it's a 6/6 flying trample. Whenever Rakdos enters the battlefield, flip a coin for each creature that isn't a demon, devil, or imp, and destroy each creature whose coin comes up tails. So it's pretty random what creatures are going to die off of this. So it could be our own, or it could be our opponents. We just don't know. The upside is with Nightmare Shepherd. Nightmare does not die, and then obviously we get to have the option of exiling the creatures that do die and make 1/1 tokens that are copies of them. So nice bit of synergy there. Going over our mana base, we got 2 Castle Locthwains. This is a little bit of card draw in the late game. 10 Swamps. You run 5 Mountains. Since we are kind of splashing red, we do want to have it have the option to play Kroxa in the early turns. Run all floor Blood Crypts. 3 Fabled Passage, just for that little bit of fixing if we do need a red source, or if we have mountains in hand and we need the black, we can just tutor that up with our Fabled Passage. And then 1 Field of Ruin, also another little bit of a way to fix our mana, and also get rid of any non-basic lands our opponent has, like their own Castle Locthwains or Castle Arnvale, things like that. Because we can tap it for colorless, or we can pay 2 to sacrifice Field of Ruin and destroy target non-basic land and opponent controls. And then each player searches their library for a basic land, puts it onto the battlefield, and shuffles their library. So the Field of Ruin will target their non-basic, and they'll tutor up a basic. And we get to replace the Field of Ruin with a basic land ourselves. Nice, 25 lands. Let's go over the sideboard real quick. So for some hand disruption against control and mid-range matchups, we've got 4 Agonizing Remorse. Running 2 Angrath's Rampage. If the opponent has like a big creature that's hexproof or hard to deal with, like a Dream Trawler, things like that, we can force them to sacrifice it. Also his Planeswalkers or artifacts whenever that's relevant. Going to just run the 1 Sorcerous Spyglass to deal with Planeswalkers and other permanents with activated abilities. Got our 4th Murderous Rider in the sideboard if we need all the removal against creatures or planeswalkers. Going to try 2 Pharika's Libation. It's a 3-mana instant. Choose 1. Target opponent sacrifices a creature, or target opponent sacrifices an enchantment. So since we are in Rakdos, we don't have a way to deal with enchantments, and Pharika's Libation does give us that option there. So we'll see how useful that can be. And also has the sacrifice a creature component, which we can kind of double up with Angrath's Rampage. Running 2 Tibalt, Rakish Instigator, 3 mana, 5 loyalty planeswalker. Your opponents can't gain life, and you can -2 to create a 1/1 red devil creature token with when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. So life gain is like super popular lately, and has been for a while, but it seems like especially lately. And this just kind of shuts those decks down as they cannot gain life. And also gives us a nice 1/1 chump blocker. For some extra bit of removal, we have 2 Eat to Extinction, 3 in a black, instant speed, exile target creature or planeswalker, and has the added bonus of looking at the top card of your library. We can put that card into your graveyard, so it's basically Surveil. So if we need some exile removal, or we just need more spot removal against large powerful creatures or planeswalkers, we'll definitely want to bring those in. And then just for some spot removal or some graveyard hate, we got 1 Erebos Intervention, black X instant. Choose 1. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. You gain X life. Or you can exile up to twice X target cards from graveyards. Alright, so that's pretty much the deck. And let's jump into some best of 3. Eventually, maybe. There we go. Rakdos Devotion and Arena Standard best of 3. Okay, so hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at. And let's see how this deck can do. So, definitely enjoyed playing around with Rakdos the Showstopper. Kind of a budget commander deck built around it. It's pretty sweet. So it's definitely more of where it seems to have been meant for is commander play. Or just casual play in general if you just want to jam some Demon Devil Imp synergy. First opponent, STF. At the Nissa avatar. Oh, they got the Elspeth sleeves though, that's pretty sweet. Giving away our deck with the Rakdos sleeves. Alright, 1 Swamp, 3 Nightmare Shepherds, and Rakdos. Yeah, it's not really keepable. This is a little better, but it's kind of awkward with 2 mountains. I think we'll keep it though, since we do have some 2-drops we can run out there. And yeah, save Rakdos for later. Looks like our opponent is on the Mulligan plan as well. Alright, Overgrown Tomb into Knight of Ebon Legion. Perhaps on the Golgari Adventures, yeah, Valmire Knight. We'll just get the Swordmaster down and hang on to this Order of Midnight. Just to kind of see what they do. If we don't draw anything relevant, we'll probably just run it out there as a 2/2 flyer. Okay, our opponent's still a land away from activating the Knight. Probably just attacking with the Valmire Knight and holding the Knight of Ebon Legion back until they can activate it. No blocks. A Murderous Rider. I think we have to deal with this Edgewall Innkeeper before they can get any value off of it. And we're not blocking, so let's go ahead and attack in with our Swordmaster and get some life. So paying the 2 life for Murderous Rider and getting 2 life back from the Swordmaster will kind of cancel out. But if our opponent has a 3rd land, then they'll be able to attack in with the Knight of Ebon Legion and activate it. Okay, missing their 3rd land, so maybe we could have held back the Swordmaster. But either way, we only took 2 damage from it, so it's not anything too worrisome. And they cannot block with the Order of Midnight, so let's go ahead and crash in and gain 2. And then I'll see what our opponent can do. Another Edgewall Innkeeper, that's pretty good. Well, they keep crashing in with the Valmire Knight, but not really doing much otherwise. We just want to try to be as aggressive as possible and put them away before they can get too much value off the Innkeeper. We'll go and do our own Order of Midnight and get both these Knight of Ebon Legions down. So we'll have some good options next turn. Hitting for 6 means we get some counters right away. Our opponent just continued to miss their land drops. So yeah, Golgari Adventure is a pretty sweet deck. And we were able to put them away before they could get value. So definitely want to keep an eye on this Edgewall Innkeeper. So probably bringing in Legion's End to deal with that. Oh, wrong deck. Let's see, what else do we have though? So Eat to Extinction might be a little bit slow. I do want the 4th Murderous Rider though. Don't have any sweepers because we are pretty aggressive ourselves. The Erebos Intervention can handle early Innkeeper. I mean, they're going to have some Murderous Riders on their side. I don't know if that's worth keeping Order of Midnight in. Maybe that's our drop. I think we'll just try it like that. I just hope we can kind of outvalue them with some of our bigger creatures. Doom Whisperer and Rakdos. We're just going to keep our opponent at bay, gain a little bit of life, make some jump blocks, and get to our powerful 6 flying Chaplers. I think we'll be in a pretty decent spot. Okay, so we got turn 1 Knight of the Ebon Legion, and we can follow it up with a Fabled Passage to get a red source, and then a Swamp. We have the option of Murderous Rider. Opponent with the mulligans yet again, unfortunately. We do have a nice aggressive Knight of Ebon Legion turn 1. We have our own Knight of the Ebon Legion. Just pass the turn. Okay, our opponent missing green, looks like. Oh, there's the force right on cue. So now they have the activated ability on Knight of the Ebon Legion. So yeah, it's no blocks. If that's all they want to do is spend their turn activating it. That's fine with me. Okay, go get our red source, thin our deck a little bit. Midnight Reaper is pretty sweet, but I think we'll hold that for now. And just pass the turn. I think we need to play this a little bit defensively. And if we see an Innkeeper, I think we'll want to get rid of that. So they don't get any value off of it. And if they go for the activation out of the Ebon Legion, then I think we'll just Murderous Rider in a response. That's it. Again, no blocks, and we'll wait for them to pump it up. Nope. We're respecting our own activated Knight of Ebon Legion. Are they going to play anything? Swordmaster. I could have done that in response and saved 1 life, but hopefully it's not a big deal. Going for the block. I'll activate it just to get rid of it. Not blocking their death touch creature, so. We'll hold up this other Murderous Rider for an Edgewall Innkeeper or another Knight of the Ebon Legion. Love Struck Beast is a good one. Removal target as well. Nightmare Shepherd. Get rid of their 5/5. And pass the turn. And hope our opponent is just kind of drawn dead here. Wow, gray merchant. That's not bad. 3. So if we draw a land, we can Erebos Intervention on their gray merchant. Nope. Well, Midnight Reaper is a little dangerous since our life total is getting pretty low. I think we just need to get Murderous Rider down just for the lifelink. And another gray merchant will just be a good game. So we definitely have a window here to get back in this thing, but it's time is quickly running out on us. Our opponent's deck just has so much value. Not sure I understand getting the Order of Midnight down. I guess they feel they can race us by having a 2-powered flyer. If I were them, I definitely would have gotten the adventure side of Lovestruck Beast out and then just played it last turn and then held up the Order of Midnight creature. Bell of the Brawl. Menace. Okay, so their board's getting pretty wide here. So in the case to be made for going all in next turn. Could get down another creature. So Bell of the Brawl does have Menace. That is a tempting target. I don't know if Kroxa really does enough here. We just need to gain as much life as possible. And pass the turn. Try to see if we can stabilize here before they get too much going on their side. You know what? Let's go for it. Let's see what Rakdos can do. Should be interesting. Okay, we lose one of ours. They lose one of theirs. Looks like actually they lost the token and the Order of Midnight. We lost our Knight of Ebon Legion. We do have a couple of powerful 6/6 flyers. But I still don't feel great about swinging in just yet. Do need to start attacking at some point. Let's just attack with one to start applying some amount of pressure on them. We have the life-linking Murderous Riders. It's a little risky, but we'll go ahead and get our Midnight Reapers down. just hope our opponent isn't able to get a bunch of value going. No, just lands on our opponent's side. We just need to try to maximize our pressure. Okay. Nightmare Shepherd represents another nice defensive piece, and then the Kroxa can hit them for 9, and now we're in a spot where we can just hit them for 6 next turn. Let's just Kroxa again, put them down to 3. Okay, so we are at 6. We have to be a little bit careful, but the Murderous Rider lifelink is pretty relevant. Okay, and our opponent, they have anything with adventure on it, can definitely find themselves back in this. I'm not really sure what they have to deal with our flyers, except for a Murderous Rider. But then they're down to 3, so they could not kill both of them. Black Lance Paragon is their final spell. Okay, they're going to give lifelink to their Bell of the Brawl. All in. Okay. So be a little bit careful how we do this. Okay, our opponent doesn't want to see it through. Didn't do the math there, so I'm not entirely sure that we were free and clear, but obviously we were going to be gaining life off the Murderous Rider, so most likely we would have survived that attack. So yeah, it's kind of a fun little way to play around with Rakdos, the Showstopper. We just got to see it go off once, although it didn't really do too much. So yeah, took down some Golgari adventures. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.